everyone. Welcome to our second week of the Q&A session. I hope you're all doing well. Does
Hi
someone-
guys.
Wait, okay. Hold on, sorry, let me just mute everyone. There we go. Okay, so we'll just do a quick introduction and then get straight into it. My name is Leon. I am 19 years old and I'm from South Africa, and I am the Academy Coaching Coordinator. So I've been in Excelsior for a really, really long time now, I think about 4 years. And some of my hobbies include anything art and nature related, basically, to put it in a very short and sweet sentence. Ava, do you want to go next?
Hello everyone, my name is Eva. I'm from Belgium. I'm 16 and I'm a coaching manager in Exculture. It's been around 1 year that I'm a member of Exculture. And things. So yeah, Tejas, maybe you can go next.
All right, thanks. Also, I think we lost a little bit of Ava's last introductions. I think she can repeat herself after the rest of us. But hi guys. So my name's Tejas. I'm 16 years old. I have been with Exculture for also 4 years now. And yeah, I'm from India, and I guess we can pass it on to Beatrix.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm also amongst the oldest members. I'm 21. I'm also with Exculture for around 4 years, if I'm not wrong about that one. I'm from Romania, and currently I'm studying. I'm a second year bachelor student in the Netherlands. And as for my hobbies, even like to cut it short as others did, anything that has food in it or nature. I will pass it to Luisa.
Hi, I'm Luisa, and I'm also a coaching manager like Eva. I'm 20 years old and I'm from the Netherlands. I live in Alkmaar and I study law and society in Amsterdam.
All right, and if you guys want to unmute yourselves and just introduce yourself, or just type in the chat, because we'd love to know where you're from. If you have an interest or a hobby that you'd like to share, that's cool. So yeah, just go ahead, feel free to do that, so we can just I guess wait for a couple of seconds in case anyone wants to unmute.
So I can introduce myself. So if it is okay.
Yeah,
please.
My name is Mike Kleiber. I am from Switzerland, and I'm actually tomorrow I will get 20 years old. And
happy birthday.
I'm thank you. No, I'm also one of the oldest, I think, in this round. And I currently work at a bank here in Switzerland, but I will go to university in 2 years. Yeah, because the education system in Switzerland is a little bit different. You have other opportunities, or it's structured another way than in most countries. Yeah, and yeah, my hobbies are reading, and I play a lot of tennis and do a lot of gymnastics. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you for
That's
introducing
amazing.
yourself.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Come on, guys. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you don't feel like unmuting right now, you can. Oh, please go ahead. Sorry, Maram, you were going to say something?
Yeah, but I'm so shy. Hi guys, my name is Maram. I'm from Egypt, Alexandria. I have 16 years old. I'm in the second year in high school. My hobbies are I like swimming and reading. I can't say anything else. Thank you.
That's really cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I saw Veronica unmute themselves. So like Veronica, do you want-
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, I'm Veronica. I'm from Ukraine, but currently I do live in Poland. I'm 17 years old and already in university. Also, my hobbies are art, longboarding, and I do really love volleyball. And I don't know, I guess that's it.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Oh, anyone else?
Yeah, I'm from Ukraine too. I am 14 at the moment. My hobbies are chess and reading.
Oh wow,
Mm.
that's amazing to hear.
That's really cool.
Thank you so much. Anyone else, guys? We have a couple of people left still, so we'd love to hear from you guys.
Hi, I'm Diana and I'm from Ukraine too. I'm 19 years old and I'm a student. I study international economy and I think my main hobby is reading. Thank
Oh
you.
wow,
That's really cool. We
That's-
seem to have quite a few readers this semester. That's really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Ava will be
that's
very
impressive.
happy about that. Anybody else?
So let it be me. Also from Ukraine. I'm 15 already. So what about hobbies? My hobbies are also reading. I'm also playing the guitar and programming.
Oh wow, okay, that's really interesting. I love programming as well. That's so cool.
Great. What is your favorite programming language? If-
Mine, okay. So it varies. Like sometimes it's Carbon, sometimes it's C++ because it's like really tough to program in that. But like, yeah. So I'm not really a big fan of Java. So what about you?
Okay, I'm programming for a long time. Actually, but I'm already pretty good at the C++, at least I guess
nice.
so.
nice.
And I'm working in Unreal Engine. I made my own learning game.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I love game development as well. That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else?
Even if you can't unmute, you can put it in the chat if you feel like it. Okay, if nobody else wants to, I think that we can get on with the questions. So as last week, my famous question to you all, do you have any questions or any concerns you may be having, or any, I don't know, any guidance you want and anything related to X culture? Again, feel free to unmute yourselves or put it in the chat.
Or like also like just like adding on to that, if you just want to ask us anything about ourselves, our experiences with X culture, anything along those lines as well, just feel free to like ask us.
Okay, so I have a question actually. In the last module, we learned all about the best tools or the best ways to communicate with other team members. And my question is now, because they introduced a lot of tools, and my question to you is now, what was your favorite tool? And what was the most useful for you to communicate, not to share documents, because Dropbox and Google Docs, I think, are the most common ways, but to communicate, because in Switzerland, we use usually only WhatsApp. We don't communicate via Facebook or I don't know, any other option, or Skype or something. Just about through WhatsApp. What was your most favorite one of these?
So I guess like we can go all like round like all five of us and like answer that question. So like I guess Leon, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I mean, firstly, I will just say it depends a lot, like actually where everyone from is in your team, because you'll get like a wide variety sometimes in some countries, as you say, like WhatsApp will be very common, in others it's not at all. So one thing is just to keep in mind that for each team it will differ. However, when I was a student, we used WhatsApp, and I think that is the most effective, and majority of people do have it. So I would say WhatsApp is a pretty good one. In previous semesters, Discord was pretty like popular, but I'm not sure if that's still the case. And then also, I believe last semester, and this is more like a professional platform to use, is Slack. Quite a few students, I think, moved over to Slack as well, and that's not many people know of it, but it is a pretty good platform if you want to keep it professional and you like want to learn tools that you would in the workplace, basically. So that is, I would say, either Slack or WhatsApp, one of the two for me personally.
All right, so I guess I'm next on my own screen, so I'll just like follow that up. I would personally recommend against Slack for that very reason. So like you can decide, it's up to you. This like I'm giving you the pros and the cons right now. So Slack is an effective tool to like maintain a professional dynamic. You can organize your conversations better. You can track your work much better. And also there's certain like bots that you can link to other platforms such as Google Drive, Zoom, or Dropbox, or even Doodle via Slack, which allows for scheduling, etc., to become much easier. But I feel like just because it's such a new platform to most people, it makes the conversation seem a lot more alien. Now, while we do understand that you guys are going to be working in your GVTs, I feel like it's really important to also form a very personal connection with like your teammates. So I would recommend like to choose a platform that's like more comfortable to you guys. Also on the point of WhatsApp that Leon mentioned, which is like, it's very true. Certain cultures don't use WhatsApp as often. For example, if you might see like certain people from the United States not using WhatsApp as often because they prefer Snapchat or Instagram. So, but I feel like for a more universal sense, I guess WhatsApp worked the best for me as well. Also, guys, do not forget to use Doodle as a tool. It is a lifesaver. It makes things like much easier for you. Like scheduling meetings is just easier. People don't really like, otherwise scheduling meetings is like a pain because you'll have to like go through everyone's time zone when everyone's free and not free. So like just use Doodle. That really does help. So yeah, I guess Louisa is next. Louisa, do you want to say something? Louisa, I think we can hear you.
I think it's your headphone again. No
Sorry.
offense, but
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just like a couple of tech difficulties. So, Louisa, I think you'll have to
Still
disconnect.
No.
No. Beatrix, do you want to go instead? Wait once, and Louisa, I think you.
Yeah, let's do that. So to add to that, we also use WhatsApp, but I remember that apart from like the ones that you mentioned, I've seen some teams as a coach using Instagram. I wasn't really sure about that one, or even like Facebook groups, but these were like, I don't know, like too casual. I don't know if you have to share that much information, if you maybe someone doesn't really feel comfortable with that. And apart from that, again, for Slack, I would say that it's maybe a good opportunity to learn more about it, because, for example, we also use that for university. So it might be useful for you in the future. And again, don't forget about rules. You will most probably hear about this. But believe me, when everyone starts to talk and try to agree on a time in their own time zone, that will just like prolong the discussion, and you won't really reach like a consensus at all, and you just realize that the week passed and you didn't agree on anything. So definitely use Doodle when you want to schedule a meeting. And yes, I do prefer maybe even more if like the team has a meeting, because you bond with people more. And I think that like meetings in general are like a little bit more effective than just like messaging and waiting for someone's reply. So Louisa, Ken, and would you like to add something?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Let's go. Yeah.
These are all new headphones, so it's not the headphones. I will figure out the problem someday. But I do agree that like both WhatsApp and Slack are great options and that they both have some pros and cons. Like WhatsApp is great. However, WhatsApp is also very something you use for your personal life, and WhatsApp is also something that can be really distracting and I found it personally helpful if you have like on Slack, you can have like different sections for like different sections and different sub channels. So for example, if two people are working together on section 1, they can like communicate within the like a sub channel, and you can like see what happens in the sub channel. And then you have like a main channel as well. So it kind of depends, because Slack takes more time to like learn how to use and also to check it regularly. But if you are going to put in the time, I think in the long term it's better than WhatsApp. And for me, like within the coaching program, we use WhatsApp for like the urgent things if we need to do stuff. However, Slack is really nice because I have everything in one place, and especially if you have like a lot of different people you need to communicate with, it's a lot easier to make new channels, just send a group message to a few people. So I would recommend that if you have the time to try to learn Slack.
Yeah, okay, so just before we move on to Ava, I just want to like address one thing. One, we have like a comment as well, and like one other thing about Slack that I just want to add. So I feel like personally this is from someone who has used like Slack for like team communication as well. First of all, it's just a common thing that generally people tend to utilize their mobiles more often than their laptops for communication purposes, right? And the Slack application on your mobile phone is a bit laggy. It's a bit like poor in terms of its like UX. And so I feel personally it's a much more tedious process for instantaneous communication. So yes, Gilded is a good application. However, one of the problems that we've had in terms of Gilded is data security, which was certain things that we faced. However, I feel like as a more like global application, Discord now has become better. So if you can, and if like one of your group members, like if someone in the group genuinely knows how to use Discord or like how to run a Discord server, I would recommend that personally, because there is a new Google Drive extension as well that allows you to create like files and upload them directly to Google Drive. There are other extensions, etc., that allow you to connect more easily. And there's other like bots, etc., that you can add, which allow you to like schedule work, etc. So I would say that just keep all of those things in mind and just like decide like for yourselves a little bit better. But like moving on to Ava.
I think you said sorry, you said most of it, but okay, I've been in Exculture for 4 semesters, and all the time, like students, all the students I had only used WhatsApps as the main communication tool. But you said all the pro and the cons of it, so yeah, I honestly really like WhatsApp for communicating because I believe it's the perfect balance between casual discussion and then professional ones. But yeah, I think you said most of it, as I said.
And yeah,
Alright.
it depends on the team. Like, you know, we all have different experiences with each one, and you will have a different experience with like yourself and then also with your team. So like take what we said in mind, but it doesn't limit you like to what you can use. However, just through experience, those are probably the 2 best ones to go with.
All right,
Thank you
so
guys for your insights. Very helpful. Thank
Sure.
you very much.
thank you. I guess we have a new question from Veronica. So Veronica asks, what are the opportunities after Exculture? So yeah, I guess let's just quickly go around. How has Exculture like opened up opportunities for you guys? And like I guess for like Leon and I, we can talk about like how it's opened up like opportunities for like some of our friends from Exculture as well. So who wants to start?
Maybe Ava can go because she got the least.
Yes, okay. So should I only can I talk about both like advantages or only the one not related to X culture?
Yeah, like I'd say like talk about like I guess what you gain from X culture that helped you in the world, like both in terms of like I guess skills and like how the certificate also helped you, please.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I just got an internship in a company for like 2 days where I will be just like I won't be paid, but I will observe how people work in a company and how they do all the job. And they told me that it was thanks to my experience with X culture, and they saw that I was very motivated, so that's why they accepted me. So X culture opened a lot of opportunities like this. And besides this, X culture also helped me at school a lot, especially for when you have some team projects, etc. I feel way more comfortable speaking in front of people. And I remember that when I wasn't in X culture yet, my 5 minutes for a presentation was like really long, and I always thought that I wouldn't be able to do a presentation that long. And now 5 minutes is just like not enough. I had a presentation last week, and I did 20 minutes instead of 10. So yeah, it really helps you a lot to develop your public speaking skills, communication, leaderships. And yeah, there are a lot of other skills that you will gain in this culture, and it's a unforgettable experience. You also make like friends around the world, and I find that so great to say that I have friends there, and then I have friends in Asia and friends in America, etc. So yeah, that was my advantages from X culture.
Awesome. Thank
Who wants? Louisa, do you want to go next?
Yeah. It's quite hard to answer because it's like impacted like, so many aspects of my life that I can't sum them all up. For example, I also think it helped me get into university because I go to like an education that really focuses international cooperation and also working with people from different cultures. So that really helped. I also am the committee chair at like the activity committee in my student association, and I also use this like experience to get roles and also to go on really cool things. So now I'm, for example, going to Brussels on like a rule of law event, and I also had to apply for that. And then I always use X culture, and it's also opens a lot of other opportunities for me. And of course, you never know how much one experience like influence the decisions. But for me, it also really changed my mindset. And I think it also made me more daring to apply to things and less fearful for rejection because I was really shy. And I think some of the older people remember how shy I was in the beginning, and that I now really feel like at home here, but I also can use that experience and that confidence in other settings. So I'm not that scared public speaking anymore. I still get a bit nervous, but now I can use like my nerves to really like get that extra edge when talking. So yeah, a lot. In a lot of different ways.
Awesome. You know, I think a lot of us can relate to the shyness parts. I think most of us have been there. V, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Also to continue on the shyness thing, I remember like after we didn't really have to present our findings when I was in a team, but afterwards I went to the symposium in Prague in 2019, also organized by X culture, and I do remember that we were like really mixed up. I was in team with university students and master students. And I was so shy and afraid of just saying anything at our final presentation with the team that I literally asked my teammates to help me out and write me a script down so that I can learn it, so I won't freeze and forget to even open my mouth. And I think that from that point, I really made great progress. And on in daily life, I would say that you can really highlight your experience at X-Culture in motivational letters, as Lisa said, for different events, or as Eva said, for internships, or even when you apply to a study program. I remember one of my interviews, they didn't even ask about my education that I was really stressed about. They just asked what you did, how would you describe this experience. So I think that people do really care about things that you do apart from school, and X-Culture was a great opportunity that I could tell them a story about. And how about you, Leon, for example?
Yeah, so I mean, I would not be the person I am today without X-Culture. Again, extremely shy person, terrified of public speaking, extremely introverted, all those lovely things. Still am that, but X-Culture has also given me the chance to step out of my comfort zone, try things that aren't really my kind of vibe. Business is not my thing at all. I'm probably the only person in X-Culture who doesn't want to follow a business career or something along those lines. But you are
No,
business.
no,
You're
no,
you both have a business side to you. I do not.
no. You're art student. I'm a STEM student. She's a law student. None of us are interested in
Right.
business.
Okay. So also just going on from a student then being in the coaching program is one thing to keep in mind is X-Culture. It never ends your learning. Don't think okay, once I'm done being a student, that's it kind of thing. You can be a coach, then a lead coach, a coaching manager, even maybe get into the admin team, etc. So there's so many opportunities, and X-Culture is also a great chance to create your own different projects, etc. For example, so as Tejas mentioned, I am artsy and I want to become an expressive art therapist, and X-Culture has given me the chance to create a project called Peace Project, which focuses all on mental well-being and just well-being in general. So it's not just limited to business or international business, etc. There's so many other opportunities that it provides, and also just opening up so many other opportunities in so many different fields. But everyone's kind of touched on that, so I won't spend more time speaking about that. So Tejas, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I feel I'll also talk a little bit more about the opportunities it's opened up for me. So I got into a school for the second last and last year of my high school. Into a school that's the most academically competitive in the entire country. And one of the things that was brought up within my interview was X-Culture. Then I also I'm able to lead projects that are pretty large. I was able to work on establishing my own business, and so those kinds of things really do help. And a lot of the people that you interact with in the real world, especially in the world of business, in the world of project management, etc., the moment you talk about X-Culture and the moment that you actually say that, hey, I've led an international team of people from all over the globe that have actually provided, basically what you're doing is business consultancy to an extent for an actual company in a completely different continent potentially. That holds a lot of merit, because that's what you're doing. Essentially, you're doing that to a smaller scale, to not the extent that an actual business consultant would, to not the extent that actual people working in international business would, but you're doing that to your own extent, which actually holds a lot of merit in the actual world. I've also gained some of the best friends I have in the entire world through X-Culture. I've become more confident, and as Leon mentioned, not a business student at all. I couldn't be more interested in the theory of business, but what I could be more interested in, and what I am more interested in, is in the the science of people and how people interact and work with each other. Because apart from the theory of business, at the end of the day, business is an interaction of people, and that is something that's really important to all of us on a personal level. So I think that's something that you really gain. Also, talking about certain things that like other people that we have seen in X Culture have gone on to achieve. Some of them have gotten into the best like universities in both England and the United States and all over the world. Some of them have gone on to like work on projects, gain job interviews, gotten jobs in some high-ranking institutions. We have certain people who were in the university and the academy track who have gone on to work for like organizations such as Apple, Microsoft, etc. So a lot of that does play an impact into like a lot of X Culture plays an impact into like just being able to harness those opportunities. So I guess that's really summing it up for everyone.
Yeah, awesome. And I see we have another question in the chat of some tips and things to avoid going through the semester. So maybe each of us can just say something that we think like everyone should take forward with them. B, do you want to go first?
Okay, so you weren't here when we talked about, so I think that like for me the most important was like really scheduling. I personally really love to use Doodle all the time, even like in my personal life. So that would be the first one. And apart from that, I think that like it's really important to set clear deadlines and like to divide who and what is doing, so that you can be sure that everyone is clear on how you all think that one task is supposed to be completed and by what time. So if you might, for example, have a free rider, then you can still save the day as a team if something goes wrong. So I think that it's really important that you really start working on your deliverables by the beginning of the week. And I don't know, like by Wednesday and Thursday, you do have some tangible work done. And like by the end of the week, you can just focus on improving what everyone prepared.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Thank you, B. Ava?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Beatrix. Like organization is a key of success in X Culture. But you were asking about the expectations. Well, I will tell you when you will like the first week of the practical phase, when you will meet your teammates and have your first meeting, everything will be a bit awkward. I think we can all relate. But the thing is just to not be scared about this. It's quite normal, you know, you're with people from all over the world, you don't know, sorry, how to behave with them. So just try to do a little effort, try to ask them questions, be curious about them, and really don't be scared to turn on your mic and start conversation like this. It really works well, and I do that often when there are awkward moments. And also, I think that it may be a random thing, but like turning on your camera is also really important during your first meeting. For example, there were some of my teammates when I was a student. I still don't know what they look like. So yeah, I think it's really important to really try to get to know each other the first week.
Yeah, and sort of just going off of what Ava's saying is like, I would say, I think in any case, but especially if you're working with people like on actually a really important business proposal, right? It's not like an easy little task that you just can get done with. It's something big, and a lot of people put in a lot of time and effort, and it makes it a lot easier when you know who you're working with. It's not just a random name, probably you still don't really know how to pronounce, and it's kind of like, I don't know actually, who are they? It makes it a lot easier to be able to work with someone who you know what they look like, you know their interests. It makes it so much easier, and it's not just like this, I don't know, a ghost that you're trying to create this business program or not program, sorry, business project on. So that's also just something to keep in mind. Tedros, do you want to go next?
Oh, sure. Thank you. So I feel like what all of you guys have said is like basically what I want to say as well. I'd say like be ready to be a little bit uncomfortable and be ready to be a little bit proactive is what I'm like, what my recommendation to you would be. There's going to be things that you would need to do for especially for like in the beginning of this like practical phase, such as in that first week, which is very crucial. Like I would recommend, like even if you're shy, just say something, introduce yourself, switch your camera on, because if you don't do that, then it's going to be incredibly difficult to form that bridge while you guys are working. It's very easy for you to get along with someone and then work with them, rather than work with them and then get along with them. So it's important to like sort of like bridge that gap first. Alongside that, there's going to be certain tasks that may be required of you, for example, surveying people, or potentially like going out and interviewing other businesses, or collecting on ground data. So a lot of these things will require a lot of proactivity, and in my opinion, the more amount of effort you put in, the more amount it like the more it will reflect within your work, the more detailed your work will be, the more like attractive it will look to the clients. And that's the best that you can gain from this experience, because that's essentially what it is. It's about being proactive, it's about just like embracing this opportunity as a whole. So that's basically what I'd say. And I think Louisa is left.
Yes, I agree with all the points said before. And it's already touched a bit upon that communication is really important, and especially getting to know each other. We talked about why that's really important, but also something else to consider. If you're working in global virtual teams, you don't see each other working. If I go have a university project, I often go sit in a room and I go work with a group of people, and you can actually see them working. So if you see them working, you're more likely to also work. But you don't have that with global virtual teams, which also increases the chance of free riding. So it's really important to communicate what you do, right? For example, if you have written a section, just send a message, oh, I have written this section. Has anybody have any comments? Right? You really need to communicate what you're doing, and also make sure you can also ask, oh, about how it's going with their sections, because you need to communicate more than you're used to. And I almost never have seen a team that communicated too much as a problem, but only a team that communicated too little is most often. So don't be afraid to communicate often. Update your teammates, because they cannot read your mind. They don't know if you were researching, if you have not put it yet in the documents, right? And also, if you struggle with something or are busy, have something in your personal life, communicate that, because then your team can work with you. So it's quite maybe a little bit obvious, but you really need to emphasize communication.
That's extremely true. And just like going off of that, is there's honestly, if there's one piece of advice that I can give you, is communicate. Like as Louise is saying, that's probably one of the most important things, if not the most important. I cannot tell you, both from my own experience and seeing other teams, is like the tiniest problems that aren't communicated, or someone just saying, hey, I'm going to be busy for the next 3 days, how many issues that actually causes and creates. And then it goes into this massive thing that literally could have taken one message or one short meeting. So as Louisa says, over communicate. Like I don't see anything wrong with that. Rather go a little bit overboard with it, but so many other issues that would generally be faced actually start falling away, because suddenly everyone's on the same page, everyone knows what the other person is doing, and it just makes life so much easier. So that is also definitely one thing. And just the last thing is, don't forget to have fun. It's, you kind of go into this program, you're like, okay, business, I'm gonna have to work, but also remember that these are amazing people all around the world, and they're literally going to become your family, and I really hope that they do, or like really close friends. And it's important to have fun, because like everything, balance is needed. So yes, you need to do your work. I'm not saying just go and have fun and have like fun activities, etc. Do your work, but also have the balance with having a meeting of just like getting to know each other, or maybe you all like a certain type of movie or something, or you want to share your cultures with each other. So like also make an effort to get to know each other, because it makes the program so much more better when you're actually working with people that you really like get on with and really like as a person. So I think that kind of should answer your question. Does anybody else have any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
Maybe you can tell more about internships, because I'm really curious about that, because like I'm already in university and I'm not planning to move somewhere else. I'm studying Europeistics. It's like international relations, but more into Europe. And I'd really like to know some like internships and stuff which can provide X culture or just open this opportunity up. I don't know, something like that.
I think, well, it's not really an internship, but the unit track in the coaching program can help you to improve a lot of your skills, because you are going to try a lot of new things that you don't do when you are a student in X culture, and it can really help you develop well, a lot of skills. I don't know why I don't have any example here. So if someone can help me, like you will score reports, you will host presentations and do a lot of new things. And this is maybe not an internship because you won't get paid for this. But if what you want is to learn new things, to participate in developing a program, then I really recommend you the unit track.
So like just continuing off of that, not just the university track, but like just coaching as a next step. So like what we do is basically the best students that we have in X culture are invited into the coaching program. So either the academy coaching program or the university coaching program. So what those students do is basically like we're all part of that program. So Leon, Tejas, Luisa, Beatrix, and Ava, we're all part of that program right now. And what we do is basically we're representatives of this international organization, which represents hundreds of countries and like thousands of people. And so what we have to do is basically run the show. So from like helping students out to organizing events to potentially like managing like interpersonal like activities, etc. So that is pretty much not, if not a full-time, then definitely a part-time job for most of us. So because we spend hours and hours and hours within a week. If in terms of other internships you're talking about, like from companies, etc., first of all, one opportunity for you to get to know and get to work with companies is the video presentation. So what happens is in the post-practical phase of your program, you will get the opportunity to present the entirety of your report through a presentation to the actual client company. So for example, if you worked with client X in terms of writing your report, now you'll get a chance to like write an entire report or create an entire presentation based on your report and present it to client X. Now, we have had situations within the past, for example, wherein the presentations have been so fantastic that students have gone on to work with those clients. For example, there was a particular client a couple of semesters back called Zen CV, and they were basically a CV creation organization. And couple of the students from Academy created a presentation so fantastic that the CEO of Zen CV was like, "Okay, fantastic, we need you guys on board." And so then they went ahead and interned with them for like weeks on end. Other than that, the particular certificate that you get from X Culture, which has been signed by international professors of business from around the world, sort of solidifies your ability as a capable international business like team manager. And so thus like can get you absolutely any internship that you would like in organizations, or at least provide you with a very solid foundation to do so. So for example, I would say like there was one of our friends in X Culture got to work at a like humongous multinational organization, and that was because he used like his like X Culture experience and his X Culture certificate during the interview process. So yeah, that's basically what it does. So I hope that answers your question.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, if no, I will ask the other, I don't know what to call you, panels, I don't know. Um, coaching people. When you were a student, what like how did your team divide your work in regards to like the reports and then also other, all the other team things that come into it? Like how did you divide your work? And did you have a team leader as well? Ava, I'm gonna pick you first because you were the closest.
Okay, it was catastrophic. So I'm gonna tell you what to not do while dividing the work. But basically, okay, my teammates were pretty shy. So what I would do is that I would send a message on Monday like, "Hi guys, who wants to work on what?" So we were doing 1 week, one section, and then I had to wait until Wednesday to, if I had some chance, get all the answers, and then I would like divide the section, and everyone would start working. And the deadline was like Saturday, but usually, like you only have, wait, Wednesday. Okay, there are only 3 days separating Wednesday and Saturday, so people don't have time, and then we were getting late with our work, and the last week was a total rush. I remember that I got up at 4 a.m. to send a report because someone forgot to put his last part. So please, at the beginning of the project, do a meeting when you organize everything and divide all the sections in advance. So yeah, that was my answer.
Thank you for that, Ava. Tejas?
All right. So, team leader was me, myself, yours truly. The reason was because like in the case of Ava and in the case of a lot of you guys, had an issue with a few free riders. Now, I wouldn't say that everyone in my team was a free rider. We did have people who worked very diligently. However, a lot of them did not do their fair share or did not do anything at all. So, like you have to like just sort of throw yourself out there. In terms of dividing work, I think the best way that worked for us was sort of understanding what everyone's strength was in the beginning, and like sort of like determining what to do with that. We worked on every single section like together. So like obviously there are 4 report sections, right? So instead of, because this is a problem that I saw with a lot of teams while I was coaching a long time back, that a lot of them basically decided that, okay, this person's going to do section 1, this person's going to do section 2, this person's going to do section 3, and this person's going to do section 4. Do not do that. Try to make every section as perfect as possible. Have someone who collates an entire section together, and have people working on the different elements. Sure, certain elements might not be up to par or as good as like you need them to be, so therefore set deadlines so that you have enough time to improve upon them. But definitely like work together to identify what everyone's strength is. So if someone's like good at like social medias or like designing and arts and stuff, so like give them like the opportunity to design marketing materials. If someone's good at data and understanding, so like give them surveys, ask them to like do research, etc. So stuff like that. And like I would suggest not necessarily having a team leader. I mean, like you can have a team leader, that's not a bad idea, but just like having people who take charge and like help delegate. So yeah.
I feel like usually the leader is a bit like informal, and it's at the first meeting that we see we unconsciously decide who is the leader by who is active or not.
That's very true. And like going off both what Tejas and Ava says, like having a team leader isn't crucial. Like some teams choose not to have one, others prefer that. And again, it comes down very much to your team, right? Like some people, maybe everyone kind of has a leadership aspect, and then you don't need that one person leading, where others maybe prefer having someone like dividing their work, etc. So again, it really depends on your team, and it's up to you completely how you decide to go about it. But in regards to that itself, and then also dividing your work, is it's really crucial from the get-go, decide how you're going to split the work. Sure, it can change along the way, like maybe somebody says, oh, actually I want to learn a bit more about marketing, can I help out here, etc. So it doesn't have to be set and it doesn't have to be completely defined, but from week one, I highly advise you to have at least a draft plan of how are you going to tackle the report, because then everyone is on the same page. Otherwise, like one person's like, when the week comes, you're kind of like, I might do this, but I'm kind of busy. But so it's like, it's very up in the air. And also, if you do pre-plan, people can kind of say, okay, my main focus is going to be on section 2. So that's in 2 weeks time. So I will make sure that I have my allocated time to work on it. So you can just, in a lot of ways, it makes it a lot easier and a lot clearer and limits a lot of stress because you have a plan, right? And if you have a plan, things go a little bit more smoothly and not as chaotic. So definitely keep that in mind. Beatrix or Louisa, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, do you want to go first?
No, you can go first.
Okay, so I mean, it took me some time to actually remember what we did and how it went down. And like, I do remember that back then I wasn't that good with English either. So maybe apart from like only just like delegating someone to like divide the task and like someone who can check if it's done, you can have someone whose first language is English who can check on the on the phrasing and like your language itself. As a coach, I've seen reports where people had like comments and some small parts which were left in French or Spanish or other languages, and like the whole paragraph just seemed like as if like translated by Google at that level. So maybe you can have someone who checks on the language aspects as well.
I just want to add one thing. So I just wanted to address this. So if you feel like you're not strong in any of the areas that we have discussed, be it language, organization, etc., this is quite literally the perfect opportunity for you to become strong in any of those areas. So as you guys might have obviously like heard all of us speak, like we weren't really confident when we joined this organization. I'll talk about myself in particular. I was terrible at organizing stuff. Like even today, if you see my like notes for school or like my assignments, etc., there's papers everywhere. I live like I am Tarzan. But so basically it's really important to understand that this is your chance to sort of work on those skills. I took it upon myself to be the one who's going to like sort of collate all of the report sections together and like sort of like combine everyone's sections together. And like, yeah, sure, probably the first draft that I submitted wasn't the best that we could have worked on, but I sort of looked at it, went over it with the rest of my team, and then we improved upon it. And that's how it works. So if you're not good at something, if you're not good at any of these areas, this is your time to get better, and this is your time to like sort of like expand and grow.
Yeah, just going off of Beatrix and Tejas, sorry, Louisa, I'll pass it over to you now. Is one thing just also with like English, etc. And even if English is your first language and you're kind of like a person like me, you still can't speak English. But even if you can speak English fluently and completely, I still do advise like using something like Grammarly. It just helps, just having it there. You don't always need to take suggestions and stuff, but like, maybe you're working at midnight and you're kind of tired and you write something and you don't go and read over it, and then there's a whole bunch of issues or something. It just helps. And then also always proofread. I can't tell you how much like having graded many reports in the past is just having like bad English or structural things. It brings down a report. Like you wouldn't think that, but I end up focusing more like or being distracted by the poor grammar or something, and I actually lose focus on the content and what the team is presenting. So it may seem like an extremely minor thing, but it holds a lot of value. And then also just going off of what Tejas was saying, wait, no, I actually forgot what I wanted to say. Yes, even if there's not something that you are confident with, is still put yourself out there and work as a team together on it. Like just you again, the communication. Say like, hey, I'm not kind of very comfortable or confident in working on this. So like, could somebody give me some tips? Could we work on it together? So do it as a team. Don't feel like you deserted on an island trying to figure this out by yourself. You are in a team for a reason, so you can work together and that you don't have to face it alone. Louisa, sorry.
Yeah, well, you gave me some time to think back because I also have to admit that all the teams I coach and my own teams have flown together. So in my memory, so I had to like, what is my actual team? What we did, we had like each week one of the sections, and then we like divided it in subsections in pairs of 2. So that's so that you have somebody to check with. So that's also really important, that you make sure that one important part is not dependent upon one person. And you can do that a couple of different ways. You can set earlier deadlines, your time to check, or 2 persons for one thing. It kind of depends how you like divide it. Also depends on how your team is structured. It can, for example, be like you need to use APA referencing, and I personally know that it can take a lot of time. So you can, for example, also say somebody who is really good in that also can help with that and things like that. So, and also I would recommend, like, if you have one person read through it, also decide which type of English you're going to use, because that's my biggest problem. Is I use British English and American English combined, so I always need to pick. Yes, I see Ava has this as well. Like, school has taught me to use British English. However, I talk too much with Americans. So, and I watch too much American media. So, like, it doesn't matter that much, but just like make sure to set like a Grammarly. You can set it in one. So Grammarly will pick up if that happens. Because if you do it yourself, it's really hard. But that's also why you should use something like Grammarly, or even Google Docs have a function. You can set it either to British English, American English, or for example, if you have Canadians, Canadian English. Kind of depends upon what your team speaks.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Beatrix, did you have something?
Yes, one last thing to add. I mean, and apart from that, like as Teja said, you might not feel that confident in your skills at the moment, but apart from your team, you will encounter issues, or you might not feel so sure on yourself, but you can always ask your coaches for help. Let's not forget about that. Back when I was a student, we just got like 1 email per semester from them. So we didn't have like this system worked out that well. But now you can rely on your coaches, you can ask for feedback, you can ask for advices. And I mean, as you can see, we do have some experience and we've seen quite a lot. So you can always ask for help. So you're not alone. So don't be scared about it.
Also, do you understand that the coaches are people like who've also gone through everything that you're probably going through right now, and like they can sort of like relate to you. And so it's really, really important that you guys have a more like personal and like a more informal connection as well with your coach. Obviously, like do understand that they are like also like working. So don't expect them to like be able to like reply constantly or like just quickly, but they will be there to like support you like throughout the practical phase.
Yeah, they always are there to support, and the whole academy coaching program is always behind you. And if you ever need any advice or support or anything, we're always more than happy to help. I see our time is running out, so if we have any other final questions for the day, please feel free to ask. I'm also going to just launch a poll. And basically the question is, would you like another session as we just had next week, same time, same day? Not same day, well, a Friday. We're not going to have one. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, my English. So basically, just answer the poll, please, and thank you. Okay, we have yeses, pretty much everyone. Okay, so we'll have another session like this, 11 a.m. EST next Friday. Okay, cool. Any last questions before we close off? No? Okay, well then I hope you all have an amazing week, and also just a reminder that tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST on Saturday, in case you're different time zones, we'll be having the Gymkhana session hosted by Tejas and one of our other lead coaches. So please make sure to join. It'll be really fun and you will learn a lot. And thank you all so much for joining.
Yeah, guys, don't forget to join in the Gymkhana session. It's gonna be really fun. And yep, bye everyone.